channel. I've got a new tripod and I broke my other one, and it's a little bit wibbly, so bear with me until I get it straight and not wobbly. It's a pretty good tripod, but I'm a little bit higher than I usually am, so just trying to make sure it doesn't topple over. I'm Connie, and I am a brand ambassador for Dixie Belle Paint. It usually takes a minute for YouTube to push the video out and tell people that I'm live, so I normally just talk nonsense for the first couple of minutes or so. So I am a furniture painter. I've been a brand ambassador with Dixie Belle for coming up to 5 years, I believe. So I am live here on Dixie Belle's YouTube channel every Tuesday at 1 p.m. my time, or 8 a.m. EST, I believe it is. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is from where you're watching from. And I just go live here and just show you what I'm up to in the workshop, show you some Dixie Belle products that I'm using, and I'm not actually painting any furniture today. I'm going to use a wood stain, and that is because I am tackling some DIY projects that need doing in my home at the same time as being a full-time furniture painter. And the problem is when you work from home is that you kind of get distracted by one or the other. So I'll have a full-on day of furniture painting and completely neglect the house, and then I have vice versa. So I'm trying to do a little bit of both and trying to distribute my time to get things done, because we've lived here for 12 years and we're still doing bits and bobs to the house. So I'm dedicating some time to get some DIY projects done. The good news is a lot of the stuff in your home you can apply very similar techniques to on furniture. So just because I'm not doing a piece of furniture today, the product that I'm using has been designed for furniture, and also what I'm going to show you will also translate to furniture pieces as well. So the thing that I'm going to be working on are actually these shelves here. So these are out of my living room, and they are really rustic hand sawn wood, which is kind of the whole look of my house. It's a little bit rustic, a little bit reclaimed, definitely not kind of perfect in any way. A little bit more like myself, but these have been they're just rustic kind of hand cut pieces of wood, and we've got really chunky cast iron brackets that they fit on. So these were done quite a while ago. I'm gonna say longer than a year ago. I stained 2 of them, and in total there are 5. So I've had mismatched coloured shelves for over a year, and I need to stop doing things like this, half doing things and then not finishing them. So I'm going to stain them today, and I'm going to talk to you about the product that I'm using, which is a product that has been developed for use on furniture. So if you wanted to use a wood stain on your furniture, then this might be something that you could use. The product that I'm going to use is one of Dixie Belle's wood stains, and this is a gel formula. So Dixie Belle sell 2 types of stain. I can't see the other one. The other one is in a box. They're in boxes over there. So the other one is in a tube, and that's a water-based wood stain. This is in a tub, a metal tin, and this is an oil-based wood stain. So this is called No Pain Gel Stain. You can get it in loads of different colours. There's white, grey, black, and then a few different types of brown. And obviously the white is going to give you a kind of whitewash effect. The grey gives a kind of a similar effect, but a little bit more subtle. The black is very cool. Obviously, depending on how what you use it on top of will give you different results. And then obviously the browns kind of speak for themselves. There's loads of different tones of brown. This one is my absolute favourite. This is the one that I use the most. This is a brand new tin, and I've been waiting to do this job because I've just ordered this brand new tin. My other one had run out. So like I say, this is a gel formula, and you can see the consistency of it on the lid. So this colour is called Golden Ash, and in my opinion, it's the perfect colour. So it's not too dated. It doesn't have any red tones in it. Walnut tends to be, which is another tone, tends to be lean a little bit warmer, and it's a little bit darker, and it has those kind of warmer tones running through it. Espresso is the very, very darkest shade, whereas this one, it's more of a contemporary shade, I feel. So it's got no warm tones in it, no reddy kind of orangey tones going through it at all. Even though it's called golden, but it's an ashy tone. So it's a really good colour for updating pieces of furniture with, to get rid of that dated orangey kind of look that quite a lot of vintage pieces tend to have. So for this, I am going to be gloving up, because it's an oil-based product, and once that gets on your fingers, it's quite difficult to get off again. If you do get it on your hands, your best bet is to use scrubby soap, which is something else that Dixie Belle sell, and it's a little bar of soap with a scrubby inside it. It's brilliant, and because it's got essential oils in it, it will break down the oil-based products on your fingers. But I've got to go and pick my kids up from school after this. It looks so weird because it's massive. I've got to go and pick my kids up from school after this. Then I've got to take another one to an after-school club, and then I've got to go food shopping. So I don't really want brown hands, stained brown hands. So I'm going to use this. I don't know where my normal latex gloves have gone. So we're using a pink Marigolds today. This is normally what I use for cleaning furniture when I don't want to get my hands all sore, especially at this time of year. But whatever's going to work in this situation. This is what I'm going to apply the wood stain with. Again, another Dixie Belle product. All the products that I'm using today are Dixie Belle. I had some questions last week about what's this, where do I get it from? Everything's Dixie Belle, because I'm on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel, so I'm showing the Dixie Belle products. So this is another product. It's called an applicator pad, and it's a microfiber pad that you can use for loads of different things, but mainly I use this for applying wood stains, because it gives you a nice even thin coat and it's not kind of streaky. Sometimes if you use brushes with wood stains, you can kind of get a little bit of streaking with them. So this gives you a nice even finish. And this is how easy this product is. You don't need to precondition your wood. These are raw wood pieces that, like I say, they're just rough cut pieces of wood that we have cut to length. I've kind of given it a little bit of a sand, but as you can see, there are still some rough areas on it. But that's the whole vibe we're going for. And aside from that, that's just how it is. It's not been treated, it's not been preconditioned or anything at all like that. So all I usually do is just get a good old amount on here and just wipe it in. So because this is a raw kind of rough cut finish, I'm going to need to work the wood stain in. Usually you wouldn't get pieces of furniture that are quite this rough. You might. I have had pieces with a very open grain before, but not usually. Usually the grain isn't quite this open. So I'm going to rub it all in. And do you see what I mean about the depth of the colour? So it gives you a dark wood tone if that is your thing, but it doesn't have any of those kind of reddy or warm tones going through it at all. But it is still nice and dark. When I've got a thick, nice, even layer on, I just go over it like that to make sure there's no kind of areas where it's pulled or kind of glooped on. And that is as easy as it gets. So the good thing about this product is, because it's an oil-based product and it's got that gel formula, you don't just have to use it over raw wood. So obviously I am here. This is completely untreated raw wood. But the good thing about this wood stain is that you can apply it in a similar way that you would apply a paint. So you can go over an existing finish. For example, this piece behind, you can just see this little backboard of the piece of furniture that's underneath. This has literally just been pulled out of my barn, so it's still got cobwebs on and marks and dust and everything. So it isn't in any fit state to do anything with until it's had a really good clean. However, if you wanted to retain the dark wood, or you just wanted to refresh it, or there was some areas that were kind of worn away, or the varnish wasn't in the best condition, this wood stain will apply over the top of an existing finish. That is why this wood stain is so good. So usually a lot of wood stain products, you have to completely strip something back, and you would still need to do that if the varnish was compromised in any way, if it was flaking or chipped or anything like that. But if the varnish is in fairly good condition, you can actually use this and cover straight over the top of an existing finish. So that is why this product is so good. You couldn't really do that with the water-based product. That does need something to soak into. But this one, you can just go straight over the top of as an existing finish. So that's one coat of this colour, which is golden ash. And that's the difference it makes. So that's the colour that my other shelves are, which I need all the other colours to basically, all the other shelves to match up. Because at the minute I've got some like that and some like this. Drying time with this product is slightly longer than what you would expect with a water-based product. But you can top coat this if you want to with a water-based product. So I don't tend to do it, especially if I'm going over the top of raw wood. So these won't get top coated, but you can add a water-based top coat over the top. Gator hide works really well over the top of no paint gel stain, but what you need to make sure is that the no paint gel stain is completely dry before you apply your water-based top coat. Usually water-based top coats don't sit very well over the top of an oil-based product, but you can do it with this. You just need to make sure your no paint gel stain is completely dry beforehand, and that really depends on how thickly you've applied it. Usually I would say at least 3 days, at least. With something like this, where it's soaked into the wood grain and it's not sitting on top of an existing finish, you might get away with less. But like I say, it does need to be completely dry. And the way that you test it is completely dry is if it's a little bit wet, it will still feel like slightly tacky to touch. When it's completely dry, it'll be hard to touch and not feel kind of sticky or tacky in any way. So that's how you know it's completely dry. To be on the safe side, if you're unsure, I would wait a minimum of 3 days before you top coat. It is a really good colour. So this is one of Dixie Belle's newest shades of no paint gel stain. They've brought out a few new ones. This is one of the new ones because it kind of bridges the gap between espresso and, I'm not even going to say walnut because walnut's too warm toned, but espresso is really, really dark brown. And then the next jump was there was nothing in between. And this one is the perfect kind of dark shade. And like I say, it's quite a contemporary shade. It doesn't have any of the red or warm tones. You can see in comparison here, this is obviously filthy dirty, this piece behind, but it has got like that reddy kind of tone to it. So this, if you are refinishing a piece and you're not a furniture painter, but you might be a furniture refinisher, or if you wanted to sand the top down of a piece and stain the top, this shade is going to stop your piece from looking dated and orange and kind of red, and make it look a lot more kind of up to date. There's the tripod going over. It's on a bit of a wonk, but it's a new tripod. I broke my old one. I go through several tripods because I use them all the time, and they get used and abused, but it is a bit wonky. And that is literally as easy as it gets. So the one thing I will say is when you finish using your no paint gel stain, make sure you put the lid on it, because it will dry out, and once it's dried out and gone hard, that's it. You won't get that back. So that is literally as easy as it gets, because the reason I'm showing you this is I put on my social media platforms last week a little piece where I stripped the legs and used this stain over the legs. And a lot of people were asking me what it was, how you use it. So I thought I'd show you a quick demo on a piece that isn't a furniture, because I haven't got anything on hand to show you on a piece of furniture. So I thought I'd show you on these shelves, because that's two birds, one stone. It's given me a little job that I've ticked off my list of DIY jobs, and it's also showing you a little bit about no paint gel stain. I was going to say something else then about no paint gel stain, and it's gone in there and out there. That's what I was going to say. Obviously, depending on the colour that you are putting your no paint gel stain over, so depending on the wooden finish that's underneath, you will obviously get different results. So if I was to put this over a mahogany piece, it would throw a different colour to if I was putting it over pine. Even though it is still a dark finish and a dark varnish, you will find that the colours vary, and that is just the nature of wood stains, because they are obviously partially translucent and you can still see what's underneath. Whereas if you're putting paint on a piece, if you're putting blue paint on, you know it's going to be blue. Well, it should be anyway. If you're putting a wood stain on, it can vary slightly depending on what is underneath. So you do have to always bear that in mind. Another question I get asked all the time is, wood staining, what will this look like if I use this product? It's hard to tell. It is really hard to know. Always do a test patch first, a tiny little inconspicuous area, because once it's soaked into the wood grain, if you are putting it over the top of a raw wood finish, it's hard to sand off or get off again. I once stripped for a customer, this is many, many years ago, before I was a brand ambassador for Dixie Belle, I once stripped an antique oak console table for a customer for a commission, and she wanted it staining but to lose the kind of orangey tones in the oak, the warmth. She wanted that kind of knocking out, but she didn't want it lighter. So we found a wood stain. It was a water-based wood stain, and I had completely stripped this piece, and it had taken me hours and hours and hours to sand. This is, like I say, years ago, so I didn't have as much experience as what I do now. And I just went in on one of the side panels. Thank goodness it wasn't on one of the areas that had detail on, because it was quite a detailed piece on the front. Went in on the flat side panel with this water-based wood stain, which was supposed to be kind of grey and knock out the kind of warmth in the wood. It turned black. It turned completely, like I had put black paint on it. And I just went, ugh. And I was quickly trying to wipe it away before it dried, but obviously because the oak was old, older wood tend to be drier, it just went and just soaked all the wood stain in. So I obviously told my customer, managed to sand it off, get it back to pretty much how it should have been, and we had to go again. So learn from my mistakes, always do a little test patch on a inconspicuous on the back of a piece or something like that. Bear in mind that old wood will be drier, so it will suck in the wood stains. Irrelevant of whether you're using water or oil based, it will suck in the wood stain a lot more than a newer piece. And yeah, don't do what I did and put it on a massive side panel without testing it first. And that is where I'm going to leave it, because I've got to jump off really quickly today. It's only a 20-minute live. Normally I stop on for a little bit longer, but I have got to jump off a little bit sooner today than usual. So next week I'll have something different, completely different. I can take that off now, my huge pink glove, but it's done its job, and that's all I wanted it to do. So I will be back next week, same time next week, with something different. Short and sweet today, apologies, but I do have to jump off and be somewhere else very, very soon. So I will catch you all next week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.